Hey guys, welcome to the first or the ninth installment and the first one in a decade, it seems, of the Movie of the Month series that I started back in 2010. The purpose of this series is once a month I try to, depending on how my schedule is, I try to basically recommend a movie for that month, and if I fall behind, I go with maybe two. And that's what I'm going to do with this first installment in over a decade, the ninth installment, but the first one in over a decade. I'm going to recommend two. Now, the first one is a unique kind of recommendation because some of you might say it doesn't really fall into the category of a movie, but when it was released on October 12th on Discovery Family, it was presented in such a way that it was basically presented as a movie. They had actually added a little bit within its presentation to give it that kind of movie-like feel, because basically it was incorporating all three final episodes of the series, and that is My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So, without further ado, and that out of the way, my first recommendation of the two in this return of Movie of the Month is the series finale of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. This actually debuted officially, like I said, on October 12th, 2019. Sorry about that. But it's officially debuted on October 12th, 2019. I can get the disc here. Hold on. And it contained all three episodes. This is all three final episodes. This is the commercial-free edition that I got off a Facebook page, and you can find it at various Facebook pages, I think, as well as I think it's in streaming sites, video uploading sites. But this is the final three episodes, and like I said, you might think it's not really, it really qualifies as a movie, but it does. In fact, I even say it right there. I say it's series finale movie. And the reason I say that, because basically, like I said, it was presented as such, even during the marathon that they went through from 5 p.m. Pacific to noon Pacific the next day. And they had replayed this after the initial airing about 5 more times. Not in a row, but basically when they did a back-to-back, they did an encore presentation afterwards, then they did the making of documentary, then they did another airing of it, and then another, which is like 1, 2, 3, then they did a few Equestria Girl things, and then they aired it again, which was a fourth time early on Sunday morning. Then they did Equestria Girls, then they did, I think, the documentary, and then they did it one last time going into noon on Discovery Family. So for about 20 hours they showed it, which I guess you might say is a good opportunity for people to catch it if they didn't see it originally. And because it was the finale, of course, I ended up recording it on several different discs down the line. But yeah, this is the first recommendation, and it's actually a pretty good way for the series to go out. And this is something that, unlike, not unlike, but this is something I should say that a lot of pop culture series, animated live action, have done in the past. They actually end on a movie. The series finale always ends up being a movie, and that's what this was. That's how this series ended, as a movie. So yeah, it's first recommendation, the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic series finale. Now, you can watch all three episodes individually, but you can also watch them together as a movie, like I said, various MLP FIM Facebook group pages, video uploading sites, and such, in places like that. So, yeah, it's the first recommendation I'm making. And on to the second one. In this ninth installment of the Movie of the Month series, and the first in about a decade. Okay, so the second one in the ninth installment of Movie of the Month, in the first in almost a decade. The second installment has to do with a certain franchise that coincidentally just had a new movie come out on VOD when it was originally supposed to be released theatrically. And this new movie is to start, or is supposed to be the foundation beginning of a new cinematic universe. But if we were to be honest with each other, this movie wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this movie that came out 22 years ago, about 22 years ago. And that is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. And to say Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, when it first came out, changed the game, if you will, of how you viewed Scooby-Doo, or how you watched Scooby-Doo, or how you interpreted it, is an understatement, because it did exactly that. It changed the game, if you know what I mean. It changed the game significantly in a huge way. I mean, I can remember the commercials for this on television where they would, promote it, first of all, as a 1-800, with a 1-800 or 1-900 number, or 1-800 number to mail in for it or stuff like that. I can remember when it first came out, I went and bought it on VHS from Target. So, and when I first watched it, it lived up to every expectation it was being hyped up to be. The animation is pretty good. I can tell you that had this movie come out like within the past few years, in the past decade, it probably would have, even very limited, would have got a theatrical treatment. There is no doubt about that, in my opinion. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. It would have got a theatrical treatment, even if it was just limited. But overall, it definitely changed the game. And it changed the game for at least the next couple of films, Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders, Cyber Chase. It kind of changed the game up a lot. But it wouldn't be until, I think, it wouldn't be until, I would say, after Cyber Chase and a few others, because these are some of them I do have, it wouldn't be until a little after that they'd start to go back into the regular routine of unmasking a villain, unmasking the villain and all that. But the one thing they would do at times is they would try to incorporate, a hybrid of the unmasking along with the supernatural. And sometimes they would leave the door open. I mean, there are several Scooby-Doo movies in recent years that have done that, much to the chagrin or delight of fans. But yeah, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island definitely changed the game. And, sticks out as probably, stands out, I should say, as probably the very best, the high standard of excellence when it comes to direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movies, or Scooby movies in particular. I know people don't like the follow-up to this and feel like the follow-up kind of pissed on it, but I think if you just ignore the follow-up, depending on how you feel about it, this is actually, on its own is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So, overall though, that's what I recommend and as my second choice of movie in this return, the 9th installment of Movie of the Month, and the first one in over a decade. Hopefully I can get back to doing this series on a monthly regular basis if I can, depending on my work schedule. And that's really about all I can say. So thank you all for watching, really appreciate it. Let me know of any movies that you feel should be nominated or looked at as Movie of the Month potential. And I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care. I'm out.